It's really...
I messed you up.
I've actually heard podcasts like start off by laughing, so I feel like that.
Really?
Well, maybe we'll keep this in. Yeah. But down banger management fantasy hockey podcast. Woo!
Woo!
Okay, no woo from Monsieur Josh over there. He's too busy. What is he doing?
He's changing diapers full of dollar sign stuff. He has baby issues, okay? And he is taking care of those baby issues, and that's all the detail we will give.
That's it. He is a father doing fatherly things, so
yes,
we cut him some slack and let him off the hook with this week's. Sorry.
I was very commendable of him. Like he's he was scared. Like, what are they gonna say about me while I'm gone? Listen, we're only saying the truth, only the truth, nothing but the truth, and that's what you can expect here at Beggar Management.
That's it. So the truth is, I did win our 2-for-2 trade, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like that Anakin Padme meme. Okay, Today, our Week 16 Hot Topics and Mailbag episode. It's gonna be a good one. Sad Josh is not here. Fear not, he will be back for the Week 17 waivers episode, which drops on Sunday. Without further ado, and sorry, before we dive into it.
Was
that good? That was good.
That was impressive. Way better than
That was the first time I've ever did that. I don't know where it came from.
You're natural.
I swear. Wow, I'm actually impressed with myself. Okay, I'll never be able to replicate that, but I'm glad we got it on camera.
Yeah, literally on camera.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, before we get into it, just going to remind everybody to drop us a follow on wherever you're listening to this podcast. If it's Spotify, if it's Apple, if it's iHeartRadio, if it's wherever else, Daily Motion, drop us a follow so that you're notified every time the episodes go live. And it supports us. The community grows. It's a good time. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment who your favorite podcast host is. Leave a like. Make sure you say that Josh is your least favorite podcast host because he's not here right now. And if you're not already in the Discord, I know we say it every episode, but make sure you join the Discord. If you're looking for fantasy hockey resources, it's like the only place to be. Everybody says it's the best Discord. It's better than all the other Discords. So listen, if you're not already in there, now's the time to do it. The link is in the description or wherever you're listening to this, whatever social media platform you follow us on, it's there. Not that hard to find. But if you have any questions, leave them in the Spotify comments, anywhere else. And all right, time for the hot topics.
Nice. Before we dive in, have you ever seen Breaking Bad? I know I may be like 15 years late on this one.
Yes, of course. I've seen Breaking Bad. One of the best pieces of television ever.
Yeah, I'm rewatching it now with my girlfriend for the first time. What a show. Like,
she's loving it, right?
So good. She loves it. She absolutely loves it. And like,
it's
before
so
we were diving into it, like, wow. I'm in podcast mode before we were diving into it. Before we started watching it, like, she wanted to watch it in theory, but we just never got around to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, at one point I was like, Emmy, let's just do this. Let's watch. And she's like, all right. So we started watching and we're just completely hooked right now.
It's so good.
So good. And it's just like, it's like just as good as I remember it.
It's only 5 seasons. Like the writers really wanted to make it quality. They didn't want to make it drag it on and let the quality go down like we see with a lot of television shows. And honestly, it's just peak all the way through. The casting is perfect. I actually saw a post recently that said like they casted people that were like quote unquote like nobodies. Like obviously Bryan Cranston is a huge actor, but
well, he was on Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah,
before, but he wasn't Leonardo DiCaprio type thing.
No, exactly. And he also did mostly comedy. Like this was his first kind of like serious role. And every other actor that's prominent in this series is not like an actor known for anything else besides Breaking Bad, right? Like this was their big break. And they said that they did that to make the show like more relatable and like more down to earth. I think it worked really well. And honestly, it's a fantastic show. If you haven't already seen it, no spoilers here, but go watch it. You'll thank us later, and we could talk about Jesse and Walter.
And a non-podcast related thing that we could ask you guys to comment. What do you like more, Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad? And I've never seen Better Call Saul.
I've never seen Better Call Saul either. I feel like I do not want to admit that on live TV, even though there's not TV.
If enough people tell us they love Better Call Saul, I think that I'll probably even watch it regarders after because I'm so into this one. And I just want last thing before we start. Literally, as we were talking about this, she just texted me, "Wish we could be watching Breaking Bad right now."
She's obsessed. I love it.
All right.
Wait, if you could recommend one show to the viewers though, before we get into it. Like your golden ticket, like everybody's got to watch this one show. It can be mainstream even, and it doesn't matter.
Oof. I mean, like, I'm trying to be kind of cool and original on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have one that just comes to mind like right away? I mean, the movie would be Miracle on Ice, the Disney version.
Yeah.
So let's just get that out of the way.
If I had to recommend one piece of TV, I mean, Breaking Bad is up there, honestly, for sure. To me, I feel like everybody would love Ted Lasso. I feel like everybody would love The Bear.
Ted
Like
Lasso such a. I've never seen The Bear, but Ted Lasso such a
you
good
got to
answer.
watch The Bear. It's so
I
good.
will. I'll watch The Bear.
I'm trying to
Ted
think of something
Lasso's a
longer, like
great answer.
older, but off the top of the dome. I asked the question, I didn't even have my answer ready. But yeah,
yeah, that's tough.
if you have a recommendation, let us know in the Discord. Let us know in the YouTube comments. I'm honestly genuinely looking for new shows to start. So if there's something that I haven't seen, and there's a lot of TV that I have not seen. So
yeah. I'm gonna think about it as the episode goes on, and hopefully
yeah,
by the end of it, I could come up. You call me out if I can't come up with one, and then
yeah.
I'll try. All right. So without further ado, our hot topics. Let's start off with the goalie of the Minnesota Wild, who I just dropped, but is he still worth holding? We're talking about Jesper Wallstedt. All right. I'll just start us off here because to be honest, we're in a deep league and I still dropped him, and I'm fully aware that he may go on an absolute tear again. To be fair, they've been dealing with some injuries recently, but he's been clearly beaten out, at least as far as quality goes, by Philip Gustafson for like the past month. But it's still in his arsenal that he can beat top tier teams. And it was really scary to drop him, especially because I'm definitely not loaded up at the goalie position. Like, I got Brandon Bussey and Stuart Skinner, and I dropped Wallstedt. So we'll see how that goes. But to me, I think he is droppable in most leagues. If you're in like a 10 or 8-man league, for sure. Once you get into 12, depends on how valuable goalies are. But for us, I felt it was the right thing to do.
It's so tough, right? Because this is a guy that like was impeccable when he started getting more playing time. And we said, like, obviously on this show, we said sell high, sell high, sell high. Like he had 4 shutouts in 6 games. It was ridiculous. Both him and Gus were going back to back with shutouts. It was like who can play even better. And we knew Gus was the guy. I think we kind of said that unless he completely fell off, which hasn't happened. He got paid. He was the main starter. Wallstedt is the future, obviously, but maybe the future is now, right? Really doesn't look like it. Do I think that Wallstedt still has good quality in him? Absolutely, I do. Do I think Minnesota is still one of the best teams? Absolutely, I do. This rough stretch is rough, though, and especially if he's getting potentially only one start on like any given week, and there's guys on waivers like Stuart Skinner, or some leagues have Tristan Jarry on waivers that are going to get the quality, like the quantity of starts, even if the quality might not be there. I'm taking those guys over Wallstedt right now any day, right? But then you think about it long term, like who do I want on my team for the playoffs? If I foresee Wallstedt bouncing back, it's a tough conversation because maybe he gets 1 game or 2 games during the week, but they're like 9-12s and they're winning. So
Yeah.
it's tough. I don't fault you for dropping Wallstedt at all. I think in a lot of leagues he's droppable right now, and you have tough decisions to make. If you're in a really deep goalie league, like it's hard to drop him when you know that he's on such a good team and what he did earlier this season. Like somebody asked me Wallstedt or Saros rest of the season, and I was leaning Wallstedt
Interesting. Yeah.
because I don't really believe in Nashville, but Saros is going to get so many games and he's still playing like well right now. But do I expect that to last? No. But the quantity might just be so much more than what Wallstedt's getting that it makes it valuable. Unless you're only counting like wins, save percentage, goals against the average. I think in the long term, one start of Wallstedt should be able to make up for the difference in quantity, but it's bad. Like if you're a Wallstedt owner, like it's really difficult. I don't fault you for dropping. Like if you're asking for permission, I'm giving you permission. Jake is also giving you permission. He took his own advice. He did it.
Yeah.
You just have to reevaluate expectations. This is also just a reminder of why it's so important to take advantage of the sell highs when you can, because it feels so good in the moment, but the fall off feels so bad after it happens.
Yeah. And like I tried to sell. I did, but I
Did you?
don't like not hard enough. Not hard enough. I mean, like it just because what was happening is that it still looked like a tandem and that he was just getting ridiculous numbers. So it did scream unsustainable, to be honest. But I felt like dropping him was okay because I don't think that many people are looking to pick him up right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really hard thing. That's another reason why I think it's okay to drop. And honestly, I do believe in Minnesota. especially with the Boldy injury, things are a little bit more murky than they were beforehand, right? I mean,
Eric
he's
Tenek as
obviously,
well.
yeah, like it's a tough situation for them right now, but they should bounce back by the end of the year and definitely like keep an eye on how things are going, because if they could still do the back to back, I mean, Wallstedt could turn it around at any time. But for now, it's okay to drop. That's where I'm at.
Goalies are always so league dependent because the position itself fluctuates so often. Like it's just like, Monday it could be this, and then Wednesday it could be a completely different scenario because of, somebody that gets a start they weren't supposed to, or they get a shutout when they weren't supposed to, and the whole situation is flipped. So we're trying to keep a pulse on everything, and right now the pulse on Wallstead is bad. It's not a must drop in my opinion, because I do think in the future, like, there's quality there, but also like it's just hard to hold again when it's you one starter. It's not even a good one. So I don't fault you guys if you have good options on waivers.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of goalies, let's go
Uh,
to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of like that's me with Wallstedt. So I totally
mm,
get where you're coming from here. Of the Columbus Blue Jackets, we're going to talk about both here. We got Jet Greaves. Nothing beats a Jet Greaves holiday unless
mm-hmm.
it's Elvis Merzlikins, the other goalie on that team. So I'll just give my little preface here, where I
Yeah.
think that it's obviously looking concerning, but keep in mind it's a small sample size for Greaves, so try not to be too upset about it. That being said, I mean, I can't just jump out here and say that Elvis is the guy to own 100% now, but definitely looking more like that than it was. So look at how the own discrepancy is, right? Greaves is owned in 60% of Yahoo leagues. Elvis is owned in 8% of Yahoo leagues, which
Yeah.
is crazy. So I would say the first thing, just right off the bat in a deep enough league, definitely pick up Elvis. But also, I would not necessarily be dropping Greaves.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you on this?
Well, this hits home, right? Because I have two goalies on my roster. We play in a deep goalie league where there's no clear starters available on waivers. My two goalies are Jet Greaves and Askarov. So, first of all, week 15, I got two starts combined out of two of them. I didn't even hit my goalie minimum. I had to make a pickup just to get one goalie start, just to hit the minimum starts, because the coaching change really changed things for Greaves, and he was not playing bad. He's been one of the best goalies in terms of like goals saved above expected this year. And you look at the other goalies on this list, and it's studs. And on the ice, he's actually been very solid too. Like, yeah, like it's not just the goals above expected. Like Columbus has not been winning as many games as they should, led to the coach getting fired. Was that on the goalie? It absolutely was not on the goalie. No matter how many third period chokes they've had, he's been playing very solid. It was the team in front of him, right? Now this coaching change has brought new life to Columbus. We're all happy about it. And yet it's Elvis, who did not start for like 14 straight games, who's been getting all the starts since he's back. So what that tells me, first of all, is Jet Greaves should not have been playing 14 games straight, first of all, right? Like it should have been more of a split. I was foreshadowing more of like a 60 to 40, 70 30 type of vibe. But the new coach is giving life to all the guys that were really upset under Evison. Like Merzlikins has been getting all the starts. Ken Johnson's playing 20 minutes a night. He was like getting fourth line minutes. So I'm concerned as a Jet Greaves owner. I I've done this before. I had Elvis and then I got screwed because Jet Greaves took over when I had Elvis on my roster. Now it's the opposite. I'm not dropping Jet Greaves right now.
I wouldn't
Um,
either.
I'm not dropping Jet Greaves, but I'm definitely concerned. I think it could play out into a 50-50 split eventually. That's what they were doing for the
Yeah.
whole season to start. I also think that there's always a chance that Elvis gets traded, and maybe that's why they're, playing him more. But it's also like super correlated with the new coach, right? New coach came in, Elvis gets all the starts. Old coach hated Elvis. So I think you monitor this. I think next week we'll have a lot more data. And, if Elvis gets 2 out of 3 games this week, I'm going to start being like, all right, Jet Greaves would have played 1 out of last 7 games. It's not looking good. And then
Yeah.
you might have to consider making the swap. But as of right now, as a Greaves owner, I'm not thrilled, but I'm not cutting just yet. So I'm still
Yeah.
holding, but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah. It's different. It's a different situation for Bonus on Columbus as a coach versus on Dallas or Winnipeg, because he had Jake Ottinger, sure thing number one, and he had Connor Hellebuck, the surest thing of number one. except for this year,
Well,
which is kind of weird. But anyways,
I'm
all
just
this
so
to say,
confused because when you look at the situation, like Greaves has been playing well. Like you look at, it's not like he was sucking and then the coach got changed. Like, so the coach must just have given it back to the vet, quote unquote, and been like, "It's your time to shine. You haven't played in a while. Let's see what you can do here." They're winning games, so he's keeping it rolling. If Elvis gets shelled in one of these games, they'll probably go back to Greaves and then see what happens there. But right now, it's just hard to get a pulse on without being, in the bedroom with Bonus, so, and knowing his
what?
insider thoughts, If you have a
Okay.
personal relationship with the guy talking to him, and obviously only people in his bedroom have personal relationships with him, so.
All right. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. It's kind of a similar vibe over here. We got the Seattle Kraken goalie situation. Primarily Joey Daccord. He's only started one of their last 4 games last week. So is Grubauer the starter now? I mean, to me, I still think it's Deccord's net. I kind of want to try to compare these situations where I would say, Merzlikins is Grubauer and Greaves is Decord. I feel like that's kind of the parallel, that they're being supplanted by the veteran starter, except with Columbus, it's a new coach. So I'd be more worried. No, not trying to, not trying to
Yeah.
ruffle your feathers over here, and I guess we're splitting
You can
feathers in a
ruffle 'em.
way.
You can ruffle and split them.
But honestly, I think to me, I'm pretty sound as Decord being the starter moving forward, but we'll see how it goes. Because Merzlikins, I think, is kind of a better goalie than Grubauer is.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I mean, Josh is the Joey Daccord owner, so I wish he was here to give his take. But I'd be way more nervous as a Jet Greaves owner than a Joey Daccord owner. Like Grubauer and Daccord were splitting basically 50-50, and then Odd came to back, and they gave Grubauer back-to-back starts for the first half of the back-to-back. So then Daccord got the next one, and then they went back to splitting 50-50. So then he ended up playing only 1 out of 4 games, but in the middle, there was a back-to-back that got inverted, basically. And what that means is Grubauer's played 3 of the last 4. And if you look in the Grubauer chat, where if you listen to recent episodes, I'm in the Grubauer chat. If you scroll down, you see Kevin from a few days ago. That was me trying to convince people that Grubauer is a sell high or not worth rostering compared to the other guys that were being mentioned. And I still feel the same way. I think this is kind of like a red flag, and do not buy into the hype of Philip Grubauer. Yes, he could be good, but at best, this is a 50-50. And at worst, I think Joey Daccord gets the edge. I'm talking from the perspective of from Joey
Yeah.
Daccord.
Yeah,
So
I think Decord's not, yeah.
I'm not reading into this much. And then as soon as we start to see Grubauer falter, I think they'll just start giving more starts to Daccord if he's playing well, which he has been playing well, and Grubauer's starting to falter. So as we speak, you might be listening to this, and Daccord has maybe started 2 in a row, and you're like, okay, it's last week's news or something. But I'm not worried as a Daccord owner. You just got to hang pat. But the realistic situation right now is they might be splitting 50-50. Do I think Grubauer is an immense option rest of season? No. Seattle's been on so hot right now. This is not going to last. So you stream him, and that's pretty much it. Like, I'm not putting that much stock into Grubauer. I'd rather have Elvis than Grubauer if you gave me the choice.
Same. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, but putting it aside, like, I feel like Elvis is more of a threat to Greaves than Grubauer is to Cord.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
The situations are different. Like Columbus had a coaching change that led to one goalie getting all the starts now. So you're kind of like, that's way more of a prominent information than just them splitting 50-50 and somebody getting an extra start because of a back-to-back.
That's where I'm at too. Okay. Sticking with more goalies on this one. It's a very goalie heavy hot topic
seriously.
week. We have, of the New Jersey Devils, one of their 2 Jacob derivative names. No, it's funny. They got Jacob and Jake, and
I
then
know.
the Habs have Jacob and Jakob. So yeah, it's a popular
names.
Yeah, well, it's a popular. Yeah, the Jake derivatives are pretty popular around the NHL. I seemingly missed my calling, but I love the podcast. So
Yep.
happy you're doing this.
We're happy to have you, Jakey. You're one of the top 2 hosts in Bigger Management, so.
Okay.
The fellow
Jakob
top 2 hosts, I
Markstrom.
can allow myself to say that.
That's very gracious. Jakob Markstrom of the New Jersey Devils. Is he good now? I am not buying into much yet, but I think that the whole hoopla of Jake Allen taking so many starts from him that's been going on all year. So it's I guess more serious than hoopla has kind of, I think that's going to sooner than later be on the back burner. It's going to be Markstrom's net. He's their starter. He's supposed to be their starter. Allen has been an okay starter in the past, but Markstrom's really an excellent goalie when on his game. It's going to be inconsistent, but I still think New Jersey should be a lot better moving forward, and Markstrom should be their guy. So, is he good now? Is kind of the headline we're trying to get at. I would say it's going to be better, but it's definitely not going to be fantastic percentages. I'm going to expect saves and wins, and it'll be a more consistent starters. Like he'll start more games than he has moving forward.
I think the question is less so about the amount of starts he gets and more so about the quality of the starts and how good New Jersey is.
Yeah.
It's crazy because some situations it's, you know, the goalie drives a lot of the value for his self, and there's other situations where the goalie is perfectly correlated with the success of the team. It feels like if the team is at 80%, the goalie will be at 80%. If the team is at 100, he's at 100. If the team is at 50, he's at 50. And I feel Marshall was one of those goalies. When the team is down bad, he's down bad. When the team is winning, he looks so good.
Yeah.
And right now, I think the New Jersey Devils, they're a hot topic in themselves. We could talk about them for like 5 million episodes if we could. But I do expect it is a lot of episodes. I'm sure the fans would love that. But I think the New Jersey Devils are on the come up, and I think that will correlate strongly with Markstrom's success. Do I think he's the best goalie out there right now? No. I think he's like a goalie that can hover around slightly over 900. I'd be happy with that on a goalie that should be winning games, right? The New Jersey Devils are a team that going into the season, we were like, they could be a cup contender. Now, everything has gone wrong for them this season, whereas injuries and on the ice play. But I think better days are ahead. I keep saying it. I'm saying it with conviction, guys. They're out of a playoff spot right now, but at some point they will go on a run where they're winning games and trying to make the playoffs. And I think Markstrom will be pretty valuable when that happens. So if he's on your waivers, keep an eye on him. I think he's like a top 20 goalie right now, if I'm being conservative. Like between 18 and 23 is kind of where I see him. And that's where I have in my head the value right now.
Yeah, because you're looking at his stats on the year, and he's like way below that.
It's not good. It's
right?
really not good. But you throw out whatever happened and you look forward. That's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah, like I mean, I got Skinner on my team right now, who's been decent as of late. I'm taking Markstrom over him for sure.
Really, yeah,
yeah. I would say so because I feel like the ceiling is super high.
yeah.
Now, when you get into like the John Gibson conversation, like I'm going Gibson there. I think.
Yeah, same.
But
you see Saros?
I think I'm gonna go Markstrom.
What about Dustin Wolf?
I'm gonna go Markstrom as well. I see it though. Like I see where you're coming from. You're talking about like really good goalies who could kind of be difference makers for their team versus.
Yeah.
I don't want to call him a less good goalie.
Bottom
but
teams.
Needs to. Yeah, exactly. A closer to the bottom team. What about Spencer Knight? Because I'm gonna go Markstrom there for sure. I feel like it's the same.
I'm going off the dome. I'm not looking at the numbers right now, but my gut is telling me Markstrom just because I think New Jersey should be able to win more games than Chicago rest of season. There's more talent. I'm more confident that they can go on a run. I think what we saw with Knight and Bedard before the Bedard injury are days that we're not going to see ahead of us. Basically, is what my gut is telling me. So
yeah, I guess I think Bedard's going to be good, but yeah, Knight was on an absolute tear. So yeah, I mean, to me, I think the way to put it is you're taking a better if you're taking a goalie on a team that's really good and he's a really good goalie, obviously that's like the best of the best. I'm taking all of those guys over Markstrom's, like the Vasilevskis, etc. And I'm also probably taking him over a good goalie on a less good team. That's where I'm at with it. Okay. It's going to be tough to name all of them, but yeah, low mid-tier starter is what I'm expecting the rest of the season, and he's been like worse than some backups for a good chunk of what we've seen so far. I think it's looking up. So,
yep.
Okay, last but not least, not going to focus on goalies only here, but I think I think this is a good one. Overall, the Buffalo Sabres are a hot topic in and of themselves. I don't think we could spend 5 million episodes on them particularly.
We love yapping, guys. We go into these episodes, we're like, all right, we'll keep it around an hour. Next thing you know, we're talking about for like 2 hours or an hour and a half, and it's not fun.
That's it. And sometimes we're like talking before, and we're like, let's just start the episode.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about hockey.
We keep
So
going.
that's it. That's
This is
it.
all we
So
talk about, guys.
no, there are other things too, but
Yeah,
it's
sometimes
definitely a
pizza
big
or
chunk.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah. That's
Chef on call.
yeah. So the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, it's interesting. I guess. Do you want to start? We could talk about the team and then more so the fantasy assets in particular
Yeah.
and where we think they're going. So right now, the Sabres are playing, I think, way above what anyone thought coming into this season, right? Like, it's not even close. That nobody thought they would be nearing a playoff position in the second half of the season, and they're in the last wild card spot right now. So that's pretty cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
I I've thought in years past that they actually had a good roster and are not performing, and finally I'm like I've given up on them, and they're like decent. So great timing. But
Mm-hmm.
look, winning record. They went on like a 10-game win streak not long ago. To me, I still don't think they're going to be making the playoffs. Like the Leafs are behind them in the standings. I expect that to change. Florida's behind them in the Atlantic. Also, they should be. The Atlantic is a really loaded division, so I think it's going to be really difficult for them to come near the playoffs. But will they be last again? I mean, I don't know. I think that what's going to happen is that the fantasy players are still going to be good for fantasy, and then the team's just going to start losing. That's where I see things.
It's tough, right? Because we talk about this division, the Atlantic being so wide open. I think right now, 3 teams at the top. Oh, I'm about to sneeze.
That's
Bless me.
funny. Bless you.
Um, uh, hopefully that didn't pierce anybody's ears. But I think there's 3 teams at the top of the Atlantic that are starting to pull away. I think Tampa, Detroit, and Montreal are showing themselves to be stronger teams ahead of the pack. Right after that's Boston, right? And I think Boston is one of the worst teams in this division. I expect
Yeah.
somebody to overtake them, right? Buffalo has been so good. I think they've won like 14 of the last 16 games. Maybe I'm missing game 17 and 18 while you guys are listening to this, but they've been so fun. I feel like they've done it surprisingly. It feels like this should not have happened, and yet it has happened. All the fantasy players are delivering. Tage has been a monster.
Yeah.
But we did hear rumors
Incredible.
earlier in the season, like, Alex Tuck was on the trade block. They didn't want to pay him what, he wants like a Kempe-like deal. He's not going to get a Kempe-like deal unless he starts turning it up. But I don't think that's happening. UPL was on the trade block. Now, Alex Line is back. Maybe something happens there, but he's been really solid. So the team is coming together. The team is having fun. We see like Rasmus Dahlin be like, I have not had this much fun playing hockey or coming to the rink in forever. So that's actually something that you can't see like on the stat sheet or whatnot, but it really does impact the players' morale and their performances, right? When you're happy to go to the ice, you're happy to be playing hockey, you're motivated to win. So I'm actually like encouraged by this situation. Now they do have injuries and they're dealing with that, but I do also expect them to slow down. I think they're going to be in the mix. I think it's going to be a tough battle between them, Florida, Ottawa. I think is going to give a run at it. So I expect them to be on the bubble. Maybe they miss out on the playoffs by like 2 points, like Columbus did last season. But I don't think they're going to be like the last place bottom dwellers that we've seen in the past. I think they've overcome that hump. Let's say.
Yeah. Over the last 2 weeks, they have like basically half their roster has averaged more than 0.7 points per game. That's like really, really solid. And some of
The
these
wealth is
guys
being
are,
spread.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you have Tage kind of running the show. He's at
Mm-hmm.
1.86 points per game. That's
Nuts.
ridiculous. 0.86 power play points also. So that's like truly, truly exceptional. Ryan McLeod, though, he kind of goes under the radar. Josh Doan. I mean, Norris is injured. Matthias Samuelson, I mean, who knows him besides Kevin? Like, I mean, for fantasy, like, he's been
Yeah.
irrelevant, although IRL, he's always been a decent defenseman. So they're getting production everywhere. And you know what? This team is a good team. It's just, I think that the problem is that the Atlantic is so loaded. The top 3 you mentioned, Lightning, Red Wings, Canadians, I think that they will make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they are in the top 4, all those 3 teams. The other team I think it's going to be there is Florida. So there's no way to me that Buffalo is going to beat out any of these teams. At that point, you got to compete with the Leafs, the Senators, and then I think they're better than the Bruins.
Yeah.
So look, as far as fantasy goes, obviously some of these numbers are ridiculous. 1.86 is not sustainable. He's going to get down to like a 1.2, but that's awesome. I don't think Samuelsson is going to continue being as fire as he's been for
Don't
points.
don't put it out of the question. I'm a Samuelsson
Listen,
owner. I've seen the future.
yeah, yeah. So they're clearly doing good things with this team, but overall, I think that they're going to finish. They're going to finish out of the playoff position, but not last in the division.
I mean, let's talk fantasy though. Like all these assets you just mentioned, given how hot they've been, are you looking to, you know, cash in basically and get guys? Like you have Tage. Tage is always just a great fantasy player,
Yeah.
but with what he's doing right now, like you can potentially consider him as a sell high, right? Like would you flip like a Tage Thompson for like a Jason Robertson type of player? I feel like I would do that. I feel like that's something that you have to consider.
Yeah, you're saying you'd rather have Robertson coming back?
Yeah, or like you could potentially get a Jack Hughes right now. I would be really looking to do that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you got to aim really, really high with this one.
Hmm.
Uh, a- and I think that both those names, I do agree. But then once you get like, I mean, we were talking about, would you rather Tage Thompson or Drake Batherson? I'm
Tage
asking you this
Thompson.
for a reason. Okay, so would
Tage
you rather
Thompson.
Tage Thompson or William Nylander?
Tage Thompson.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
totally confident in saying that. All
I think
right,
I guess I'm
fine.
just
So,
lower on Nylander than most people, and like I still do think he's a buy low. He was my buy low pick for a long time because he just got 0 points. But I've reevaluated, I guess, my take on him, and now this new injury does scare me because it's a re-aggravated groin injury. So there's always an extra piece there that I'm a low risk manager. Like I don't like taking too big swings when it's going to cost me a lot. Like if I could get Nylander for cheap, I'd love to have him on my roster. But for a guy that I know
yeah,
is going to be delivering on me consistently, like to me, it might be a little rich. If you're more of a risky manager and you want to play for that upside, like upside wins championships, I'm all about that upside. But I'm also not willing to take big swings when I'm already in a good position. If that makes
right.
sense.
How about a Matthew Tkachuk?
I mean, now we're talking about Nylander and not,
Sorry,
or you're
I'm
talking
saying
about Tage Thompson or
if you
Matthew Tkachuk?
send Tage for Matthew Tkachuk,
I'd rather have Matthew Tkachuk.
that could be a fun one.
Yeah, that could
Like,
be
right? I mean,
absolutely
zero
be a fun
sample
one.
size.
Matthew Tkachuk
It
just
could.
came back. He's not full force yet. Like you can absolutely
Yeah,
get that done, I think.
yeah, that could be a really fun idea. So, I mean, there's definitely moves you can make here because he's playing above his pay grade, but
Mhm.
he is obviously the star on this team. The other guys, and then we'll move on
Yeah,
to
the
the
surrounding
mailbag
cast, we
questions.
got to talk about them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at this, their whole team has been on fire. But can you
Mhm.
sell Matthias Samuelsson? Probably not.
No, but I'm talking about like Josh Norris, Jason
That's
Zucker,
what I mean.
Josh Doan, like all these guys.
You
You're
can
not gonna
sell some
have
of them.
I mean, you can try if you're in a deep league that has very little depth on the waiver wire. Like I think these guys have more pull there, but these are not
Yeah,
guys that have like name value trade pull. These are guys that you hold on your roster and you stream them when you can, and they become potential holds on your team. And I think these guys will be valuable for the rest of the season because I think these are all the pieces that are part of that power play one. That's a pretty decent power play. Like it's not anything crazy, but it's not one of the worst ones. And I really do
yeah,
think that these guys are gonna have value. Like you're gonna see them on our waiver show week in, week out. Like they're gonna hover between 30 and 40%, and they'll be on the waiver show because they're just guys that are exposed to the top players playing top minutes.
yeah,
And I think these guys are valuable.
yeah. Are you trying to cash in Alex Tuck? I think that's like probably the best
Always
name that
trying
I
to
would.
cash in Alex Tuck.
Yeah, that's probably the best name that I want to sell. Well, that you can sell that I want to sell. Like Ryan McLeod's been on an absolute tear over the last
Yeah,
month, but
nobody's
I don't
buying
think you
Brian
could sell
McLeod.
him. The same with Bowen Byram, although he's
Yeah,
actually a good player in his own right. But anyways,
yeah,
but Tuck is the one that actually carries some name value that's been playing out of his mind recently, like
100% selling
1.14 over the
Tuck.
last 2 weeks. That's a really good one,
Yeah,
and I think you could aim somewhat respectably high. I mean, like,
yeah.
yeah, like a top someone like hovering at like point 0.8 points per game that should be in 1 points per game.
I would sell Tuck for Nylander if somebody would do that. I
I
would do
don't think
Tuck plus
anybody's
for
doing.
Nylander.
I don't think anybody. I would.
I
I
think
think
you'd be surprised.
Batherson was. Yeah.
I think you'd be surprised about like how low people are on Nylander because he was bad, then he got hurt, then he came back, was good for 2 games, then he got hurt again. So like, if the Nylander manager is struggling, we don't know when he's
Yeah.
coming back. Like Tuck and a little something something could get it done.
Like, if you could do that, absolutely. Like cash in completely. That would be a
Yeah,
huge deal in my opinion. And what about? I'll name one more and then we'll move on. What about Ryan Leonard? Would you take Ryan Leonard over Tuck rest of the season?
No, I'd take Tuck.
You're taking Tuck? Okay.
Yeah, I
So
think
you're not
Leonard's is
aiming
too
like
low.
okay. Okay, maybe a Dylan Larkin actually, who's been
I
not
think it's
great.
too high.
Okay.
I think if you
He's
can get
also
Larkin for Alex Tuck, that's a fleece.
yeah. Well, if we're talking in the Nylander conversation, I mean, I feel like you got to name someone like Larkin too. What about
Yeah,
Nyes?
I would take Matthew Nyes for sure. Alex
Okay.
Tuck, no matter what, who's healthy on this team, like he barely gets power play one. I'm trading him for a guy that's going to be on power play one that can get consistent production. Like you could maybe get a Drake Batherson. Like we just
Yeah,
talked about Drake
that's
Batherson. Like Drake Batherson is not necessarily a buy low, but Alex Tuck is definitely a sell high. So
yeah. Cool. All right. Let's move on to our mailbag questions. I just want to quickly say How I Met Your Mother, great show. I think
yes,
that's one of those like I got to recommend that to anybody who hasn't seen it.
I
I don't know, this may be controversial. I would take How I Met Your Mother over Friends any day. I really
that's
hope
not
my girlfriend's not
controversial.
listening to this. She will be mad at me, but she
Yeah,
also loves How I Met Your Mother. But like I know Friends fans are diehard Friends fans. I just think How I Met Your Mother is definitely funnier and yeah. What do you think?
it's funny because that you mentioned that. I actually watched the first like 2 episodes of How I Met Your Mother recently with Helen, my girlfriend, because she's never seen it.
Ooh.
So I'm like, this is. I wanted to see first of all if it holds up because I've done rewatches over the years, but it hasn't been for a few years. I think How I Met Your Mother always holds up, although it can be maybe a little cringe depending on how you feel about like Ted Mosby. But I still think it's a great show. I laugh a lot, so
So good.
it's just so hard watching a show that has like a laugh track now. I'm just like it's the only thing I can hear when I watch these old sitcoms. I'm like the laugh track, the laugh track. It's always there.
Yeah.
So that's why The Office
Well,
is so good.
Modern Family too, right?
Yeah, Modern Family is exceptional. Great show.
Modern Family is amazing. So I would say Modern Family, How I Met Your Mother. Those are my two recommendations.
Okay.
Okay. The mailbag. Let's begin.
Yeah, we only got a
Kit
few questions
Kat.
today, but these are fun.
Yeah, not too many. We got Kit Kat through. Yeah. Kit Kat Crew 3. That's a tongue twister. Give that
Actually,
one.
yeah.
Give that one a try. I want to see. Kit Kat
Kit,
Crew 3.
Kit Kat Crew Tree. Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I'm telling you,
Okay,
that's
I'm to say it fast. Kit Kat
yeah.
Crew 3.
Kit Kat Crew 3. Oof.
Jakey's
All
eyes
right.
twitching right now, and as he's trying to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that.
I think I malfunctioned while I was yeah. Okay. Kit Kat Crew 3 on Discord asks, what are your thoughts on Kadri's value rest of the season with a potential trade coming? I think with the Anderson move, it's way certain that Kadri is going to be on the
hmm
move. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely fair to just say that a trade will happen.
hmm
So, I mean, look, like this, Kadri's the type of player to me. We were talking about Trocheck and Panarin on our recent news and Would You Rather episodes as guys who have succeeded everywhere they've gone, and that's for IRL and fantasy. Nice hoodie over there.
Yeah.
So, to me, the way I see this is that Kadri's value where he goes this season is not really going to be that destination dependent because I think no matter where he is, he's going to go down in value,
Mm.
and that kind of sucks to be honest. And
His
then
value's
like let's
pretty low
say,
right now. I don't know if you've seen what Calgary's been doing recently, but it's a
yeah,
dollar sign.
yeah, let's check it out because he went on a tear somewhat recently. Like he was
Josh
quite
tried to
good.
buy him, then he popped off for like a month,
Oh
and then
yeah,
he's been awful. Like people are asking if they can drop Nazem Kadri, and if you're in a 10
yeah,
team league, you
no,
probably can. If you're in a lot of 12 team leagues, it's tough depending on who's available on waivers. My take is that we said this earlier that his situation can't get better than Calgary because on Calgary there's nobody else to take shots. That's why Nazem Kadri's shot volume is always so high. He has the best deployment there, and if he gets traded, the odds are his deployment's going to get worse, right? Like a team that wants him is going to want him to be the 2C. That means not necessarily power play one and second line deployment. He's definitely not going to be taking as many shots in my opinion because there's probably going to be better talent around him that should be taking shots. But now he's been so bad that you're like maybe a change of
yeah,
scenery and is like an influx and potential, improvement.
yeah,
And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't think a trade is going to happen until we get closer to the trade deadline, unless things heat up. We'll talk about it on the podcast if that happens. But as of right now, it's like pretty quiet. The fact that Calgary made a move right now maybe means that they're going to be open to selling in the very near future instead of waiting till the trade deadline. But I'm looking forward to seeing where he ends up going. I think his I think his value resets when he gets traded. It might be worse, but he's not really doing much with the deployment right now. Like the power play is not anything special. They're one of the worst power plays in the league, so he might be going to a better power play and get more opportunities. I welcome the trade. I think there's some destinations that could really work out for him.
Yeah, so let me explain what happened. When I tried to pronounce Kit Kat Crew 3, I think my entire system rebooted and I didn't realize how bad Kadri's been in the recent past. This is abysmal. So compared to what you've seen like over the last month, wherever he goes, he's going to average more than 0.15 points per game.
It's so bad, guys.
That's awful. So
yeah,
so I'd like to okay, I did it again. So
yeah.
I'd like to
not the first one though. Maybe the
that's
surprise
fine.
effect.
I mean, the first one was wild. Okay, so I'd like to rewind on what I said at the beginning, but realistically, like what he did last year, let's say as like a benchmark for how good he could be, or you know when he went on an absolute tear when he played for the Avalanche a few years ago, I don't think anywhere near anything like that is happening. So it's gonna get better than it has been. But I feel like I don't want to own him right now. I don't want to trade for him. And if I have him, like I don't know how high you can aim because of how horrible it's been. So it feels like you're kind of just stuck.
No, you're stuck with him. It's either you cut or you hold.
In a deep enough league, I don't think you could cut because his shots are decent. You know,
in a league like ours, you can't cut. But
yeah,
in a league that's like 12 team standard, that you know a lot of the waiver guys we mentioned are pretty hot, and he's your worst player. There's a world where you just cut him, to be honest, and you move on. Like if a Dorofeev's available, like you make that into a no-brainer, right? If a Fantilli's available, you do that into no-brainer. So, I think you have to definitely know your league, and it's about like how deep is your waiver wire. If there's good options, I'd be willing to make a swap, but I'm also trying to hold to see what happens with the trade. Why are you smiling so much?
I'm smiling because of the next question.
Okay. All right, let's look at the next question.
All right. Jordary on Discord asks, what's more likely, Jakey saving 2 out of 10 McDavid penalty shots or Jakey scoring 5 on 10 on McDavid in nets?
Yeah, well, we need to Proface. If there's context to this, if you haven't listened to the bonus episode that we released, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. If you scroll down, it was like the only one doesn't start with like week 15 or whatever. Like we recorded a bonus episode. It was full of laughs. So if you haven't listened and you need extra content, go listen to that. But Jakey was so confident that he would be able to stop. Jakey used to play ice hockey at a pretty high level, I will say, and he used to be a goalie. And he was convinced that he could save 2 out of 10 McDavid penalty shots. Now, Josh and I clearly, obviously, have a brain in our heads and said that that's impossible and that he's too confident. But we admire the confidence, obviously. But that's just crazy. Jakey, you have way more odds of scoring 5 out of 10 in McDavid in nets than saving McDavid's penalty shots. And you cannot convince me otherwise.
100% that's not true.
Stop. Now you're just committing to the bit. There's no way.
Okay. So let me ask you something as someone who used to play soccer. Okay. Yeah. Could you, and you played like kind of all over the field, but you were not a goalie.
Penalty shots are way different than hockey penalty shots.
No. So just to say, you playing the position you played, which was someone who kicked the ball, not a goalie, could you score more on, I don't know. I want to say
goalies.
I want to say Vetter Check. He's like the only guy coming to my mind right now.
It's Vetter Check, but yes.
Vetter Check, sorry. Because he actually plays hockey now, too. Did you know that?
I think I saw that. Like
he plays in Europe.
I was going to say, was it like the Czechia League or something?
Yeah, that's it. So, okay, so Thibaut Courtois. Do you think you could score more on Thibaut Courtois or save more of his shots?
Courtois is not one of the best goalies in the world anymore, but yes. I could definitely score more than I can save because I can't save anything. I've never played goalie. Being a soccer goalie is like a whole different thing than being a hockey goalie. And also the penalty shots are way different. It's just one kick, a lot of, you have to pick the right side. There's a lot more luck in there, whereas hockey is more reactive. So, I mean, maybe you just don't believe in your hockey skills as a player at all, but I feel like you've always wanted to be a player, right? So,
well, I like playing.
McDavid's never played goalie either.
So basically, the way I think that you should look at this is that, and we won't spend too much time on it, but basically, if a player is playing against an NHL goalie who I concede is better than me right now. As we said,
right now
all the Jake's playing in the NHL, but I've committed to being a podcaster. So, if you're going up against an NHL goalie, you're at like a good shooting percentage of penalty shots if you have a 30%. Meaning you're lucky if you score 3 on 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So I was saying that in my prime, where I've played against professional players who took like penalty shots on me,
Jake
I
Wallman,
was
yes.
able to score. I was able to score, or I was able to save like, let's say, 7 on 10.
There's no way you were saving 7 on 10.
Yeah, it's not as crazy as you think it
Somebody took
is.
10
Like,
penalty shots on you, and you're like, all right, the number is 7. That's how many I saved.
it's not like it's like a whole thing when you're facing off against a player. Anyway, there's simply no way that I could truly make a compelling point, and I hope that this is entertaining for all our listeners and Jordari, especially who asked the question. But at the end of the day,
you're nuts.
No, at the end of the day, it's like it's not easy for a player to score on a penalty shot against a somewhat experienced goalie like Scott Foster or David Arias, like the guys who like came up to play like from the Zamboni. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much do you think McDavid would score on them? These are not NHL goalies. You think he would score 10 on 10 penalty shots against them?
Yes.
No.
If he doesn't score, it's because he missed the net.
That's it. They can miss the net on me. That counts as my
You're not saving.
No. That counts. That counts as like
just stand there and hope that he misses.
Well, if in an NHL game, if a player has a penalty shot, if a player has a penalty shot,
it's McDavid. It's not like
he could miss the net
or something, you know.
He could miss the net.
Matt Rempe's taking a penalty shot on you.
I'm just saying that it's not as crazy as you think. So, just saying. He can miss the net, and it still counts. Shepherd Commander on Discord asks, do you have any advice on how to handle the Wild 2-week-long Week 18 with the Olympic break in the middle?
Yes,
wow.
I have the perfect advice for you.
Yes.
In a situation like this, what you have to do is you have to keep your ads for the second half of the week. Because not only are there injury possibilities at the Olympics, but you also want the most information when you're reacting to how the week is going. So when you make early week moves, it's mostly because you want to stack the games played. You want to pick up guys that have early week schedules so you can get those games banked in and then have more information to see how you can react in the second half of the week. With the Olympic break is such a big factor that I want to keep all my ads to react to the situation. What if one of the guys that what if I use 2 ads early in the week on Monday because I want to stack those games, and then I get 2 injuries at the Olympics and I only have 1 ad to replace those guys? I'm going to be in a tight situation. So it may not be the best for potentially winning week 18 specifically. You might not get the most volume out of your ads, but I think the smart thing to do is keep them. Maybe use 1 early week and if you have 3 ads, use 1 early week, keep 2 for the second half of the week after the Olympic break or nearing there. Or just keep most of them for after. That's what I would do. I think it's best practice because first of all, you're playing with more information and there's a big event happening. So a lot of things can happen. People could get, maybe we have more trade rumors, maybe somebody gets hurt, situations change. You want to be able to react to those events.
Yeah, so I like it. The only thing I'll add to that is if there is an event, like Kevin was saying, like someone gets injured and you know that there's a direct replacement for him on their NHL team, like let's say like someone's like a shoe-in for power play 1 if this person gets injured, then that's like a really good opportunity to pick someone up. So it's really important to as much as you can hold and wait till the second half of that week, but don't be shy to react to the news, especially if you think it can help you moving forward, like beyond the week you're currently playing. So
yep.
And the week before, try to, if you can, hold some ads for the end of that week so that going into week 18 you're able to use them. You know what I mean?
Yep. I would say week 17, maybe make moves that are a little more week 18 oriented. So
that's what I meant,
get the advantages of like the early week games in week 18 without having to use your week 18 ads.
Yes. All right. Ninja Bob Dog on Discord asks, what social circles were you a part of in high school? Jocks, nerds, artsy fartsy, floaters. I can't say the next one, or normies.
What's floaters?
I don't know. I don't know what floaters is.
First of all, what was Josh? Now, I did not know Josh during his high school years. Jake, did you know Josh during his high school years?
I did not know him during high school, but he's kind of like described himself as sort of a bookworm who also played sports.
Yeah.
So like I remember like one time like he was just telling me about like I think he was like I don't know, he was just like saying like a scenario and he was like, but I didn't even realize because I was just like reading at my desk
Yeah.
or something, you know? So Josh, like
He's
I
very
wouldn't say
studious.
yeah, I wouldn't say nerd, I wouldn't say jock, but it's kind of like he had like a little bit of both in a way, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like it was definitely not like the type of thing uh where he was like just one of those. But I only met
Mm-hmm.
Josh later on. Like I didn't know him in high
Yeah.
school, but that's like the way he described it. How about you?
So for me in high school, so I grew up playing soccer. I started playing soccer when I was like 3 years old and played until I was 19 or 20. So high school was like peak soccer career for me, and I was always one of the more like athletic players. But all my friends were nerds, and I did pretty well for myself in school as well. Like I was known to be studious, but I was never the I didn't get the best grades out of my friend group, but I got great grades. But I was always like the more sporty one, so I had like the respect of the jocks, let's say, that were bad at school but like really athletic. And most of my best friends were very smart. So I was kind of like in between, but it was always so fun when we'd have like, gym class or whatever. And I mean, my high school had a hockey rink, so we'd play not hockey, we'd play like broom ball, if anybody knows what broom ball is. But I'd play broom ball goalie, and my quote unquote pads were hockey player knee pads. Those were my goalie pads. And I was pretty good, not gonna lie. So I always thought I could make it as a hockey goalie if I needed to be. But yeah, that's kind of where I was. I was like the part of the smart nerdy kids, let's say, but the respect of the jocks, and that's kind of
Yeah.
how it was for me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we didn't really have like that kind of breakdown of like nerds, jocks, whatever. I kind of just got along with most people. Like, I was
Yeah,
friends
that
with.
adds up.
I was.
You were normie.
I guess normie works. I did play a lot of sports though. Like, I played hockey and basketball and also
Hmm.
like a bit of football here and there, so I definitely was sporty. But yeah, I just had kind of like friends in different friend groups, so I would sort of just get along with most people. Sort of a boring answer, but I don't know,
Boring.
I feel like in Canadian high schools, maybe it's just like unique to Quebec, but there's not really like your typical freaks and geeks type situation, you know? Not that I've ever
Hmm.
seen that show, but where it's
Yeah,
like, there's like, oh, there's like this like you sit with the jocks, like, you sit
yeah,
with the
yeah.
nerds, it wasn't like I mean, there were the people who were like in theater who kind of did their own thing, and then
Sure.
there was and like I was friends with those people too, like they were friends with people, but they were kind of like unique, I would say, and then there were the like other people. There was no such thing as like jocks
Yeah, yeah,
specifically, So
yeah.
anyway, I feel like we all would have been friends if we went to the same high school.
100% we would have. We probably would have started a podcast.
That's it. That's it. All right. And last but not least, Joshua Fearon on Discord asks, in your league of record, how good would a team of undrafted players be? Wow, love this. What are the
Hmm.
odds you could win the league without drafting? You get to pick your team after everyone has drafted their full team, but can still stream and trade. And follow up, Josh. Unfortunately, he's not here. How would you still acquire 4 first round picks? In a league like ours, there's no way you could win without drafting. It's way too deep
No.
because we're 280 rostered
Yeah,
spots, like
close to
excluding
300.
injured. Yeah, so it's just way too deep for that. But I love the concept. I
Yeah.
find if it was like an 800
If
players
it was
deep,
a
it's actually possible.
I was gonna say if it's like a 10-team league, honestly, I think that it could be feasible. I think all three of us on this podcast would have a lot of success attempting to win the league by not having a team that's drafted. I
Yeah.
see this in football, and I've always wanted to play in a football league like this. I forget. I think it's called the Vampire League, where it's like
Love
everybody
that.
drafts their team, and then whoever there's one person that doesn't draft, and they make their team with the waiver guys, and only they have access to waivers after. So it's a fun concept. I really like it. For hockey, that would be super fun in my opinion. Maybe we could do a couple vampire leagues with listeners. If we do like a shallower league, I think that could be fun. But
Yeah.
Josh would absolutely not acquire first round picks. He would not be able to. There's nobody that you would be able to pick up off waivers. Like you'd have to hit on all the waiver guys, and then convince somebody to trade them. Like you'd have to pick up like the Darren Radishes that are averaging 1.5 points per game, and then compare that with somebody else. But in our league, there's too many players getting drafted that the quality of the breakout candidates are also just like very low.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd love the challenge though.
Yeah, there's a few players like it can't be more than like 120 players rostered to actually make it possible. And even then, right? I mean, like you can still pick up players if you did draft, right? So the Vampire League, you're saying it's like you can't pick up players if you actually drafted.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be able to.
Okay, well in that case,
maybe there's different settings for different type of leagues, but
yeah. Damn, this is a fun one. I never thought of it. But yeah, very cool. Very cool. A lot of this was a fun episode. I want to say one more thing. I remember having a conversation with my friend back in the day. I think it was probably in high school, and I was like, I can stop 2 out of 10 Ovechkin slap shots. And he was like, no, you're crazy. Yes, you can. Like, I think like the whole thing was like from the blue line. I'm like, do you know how far that is? And like, this is like back in the day. What?
The blue line is pretty far.
Yeah, like this is back in the day we're talking. So you know, but I was like, I could definitely stop it. So it's funny that like we've evolved and I'm still having a similar conversation
Everybody evolved,
all these years later. I'm telling you, nobody believes in me, but all kidding aside, like that one,
like, I could win the lottery if only you put my mind to it. I could do it.
That's it.
The numbers are right in here.
I'm not saying these unrealistic things. Like I'm telling you, it's 2 out of 10 shots from Ovechkin, or it's 2 out of 10 breakaways from McDavid, and they can miss the net and it counts. So anyway,
yeah, but when you say save, it's just like it implies that the net is not being missed.
No, the net can be missed.
We're not getting into this anymore. So spend too much time.
Let's take it as we finally agree that 2 out of 10 breakaways from McDavid will not go in, and we're both on the same page, and it's a great place to finish the episode. Right?
I can't believe I'm letting this happen, but yes. Sure.
All right. Thank you to everybody for listening to our Week 16 Hot Topics and Mailbag episode. If you enjoyed the show, give this video a like on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Don't worry, Josh will be back next episode. And subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You named a few fun ones before. What were they again?
Yeah, like Daily Motion, maybe Zillow if you want to see my house, or wherever. Just take a look. Bumble Friends if you're looking for some podcast friends.
Yeah, there you go. So wherever you're listening to this podcast, hit subscribe, rate 5 stars. We truly appreciate it. And all these socials are in the podcast description. The crown jewel, awesome Discord community, great place to be. That's where we got most of these questions every week, and it's just like a really fun place to interact with you guys. To affirm my absolute fact of stopping 2 out of 10 McDavid breakaways. Like that's the place to be. So
I'm nodding my head no for all those that are only listening.
All right, who's Ernie this time?
You're definitely Ernie, and you should take it away.
Me. Ba-da-ba-bum-bam. Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Nice. You're crazy.